Welcome to the Dropship Podcast, where you'll learn how to build and grow a high-ticket dropshipping business and hear stories from successful e-commerce entrepreneurs. Let's kick this thing off.
Hey, welcome to the Dropship Podcast. John here today with a solo episode of the show. In this episode, we're doing a website teardown of a website called Kookaburra Toys, and big shout out to Ben for asking us to get on and do this one for him. It's always nice of people to be willing to share their stuff, what they're working on publicly, and give us something to talk through on the podcast, because these website teardown episodes can be very useful if you're somebody who is also going through the process of building and launching a high-ticket dropshipping business. You'll find there's usually all sorts of little nuggets along the way of things to do yourself or things to avoid doing, as it might be. And so while this is a longer episode than what we normally do, definitely check it out. And if you want to see the video, I know a lot of people listen to this while they're at work or in the car or while they're commuting or something like that, mowing the lawn even. But there is a video version of this episode. So if you want to be able to look at the site and see what I'm talking about while I'm talking through it, you can watch the video episode on Spotify, or you can also find it over on YouTube. The video will be uploaded there on our YouTube channel. You'll be able to find it so you can watch along. But the website itself is kookaburratoys.com.au. So let's dive into it and check out Kookaburra Toys. We've got the website up on the screen now. This is Kookaburra Toys. As mentioned, you can see up the top there, kookaburratoys.com.au. So it is an Australian business, an Australian dropshipping business. Once again, the feedback I give here is not specific to Australia. The feedback I give here would be relevant if you were in the US, if you're in Australia, if you're in Canada, if you're in the UK, if you're in somewhere in Europe. It's all going to be the same. So don't worry about any of that country-specific nonsense. It's a marketing lie, and it's not something you really ever need to think about. So Kookaburra Toys, just I guess as an overview, we can see it is, as the name helpfully explains, a business that is selling toys for children of all sorts. And so, nice bit of branding here. Very Australian specific, Kookaburra Toys. If anybody from overseas is watching this is the kookaburra is a very well known native Australian bird. Has a very distinctive sound, a song, if you like. That it makes early in the morning, usually to wake you up. In fact, if you've listened to any of our Dropship Breakthru videos in our course, you may have heard some in the background of some of my early videos where I was recording where there were a lot of birds. In any case, certainly my initial thoughts just on the niche itself, right? I mean, we can talk about the website, which is important, but of course, the market, the niche itself is an important thing to talk about. Look, in my view, it's a tough one. It's not my favorite. I know somebody who is doing it quite well here in Australia and has been for a number of years, and she might see this video, I'm not sure. But and there's been a few other people I've come across over the years that have done aspects of children's toys well. And so I think it's certainly doable. There is, possibilities here, but a lot of this market, like if you just say toys in general, I don't think is going to be particularly an easy journey for a drop shipping business. And easy is never the right word to use, but I just don't. I think it's on the more difficult side of drop shipping with the toys, and that's simply because there's a lot of competition, right? I mean, children, same as babies or anything like that. It's a very large market. There are lots of children, and there is a constant stream of new children coming to this world, as well as people going out the other side, becoming adults and all of that sort of thing, or moving into an older age range. So it's a big market, right? It's one of the biggest markets out there, and so what that means is that everybody knows it's a big market, and everybody knows parents like to spend money on their children, and grandparents spend money on children, and all of this sort of thing. There's a lot of gift giving and within this space, and so there's a lot of money there, and everybody knows it. And what that means is usually it's quite competitive. both on just the number of competition, the number of competitors, and also from a pricing perspective. It tends to be a lot of the products will tend to be quite tight, probably tighter on margins than some other niches out there because of that. You have a lot of big retailers in the space, both once again online and physical, and so I think it's kind of one of those niches which probably has a whole bunch of sub niches inside it, to be honest. But if you just said toys in general, it's going to be one of those things that's probably in and of itself a bit not sort of the approach I would generally take to high ticket drop shipping. Having said that, though, there are products within that space that can work for high ticket drop shipping, and certainly Benjamin has got some of those on this website. So we'll dig a bit more down into these products as we go, but just to dive in, I'll just start giving some thoughts on the site. So first thing, header of the site. We've got a nice logo. I like the logo. It fits within the design of the site. I think it could be the sort of branding that could turn into branding you would put on your own products at some point. I can kind of understand that. And so that looks nice. I like the color scheme, etc., etc. Once again, kind of fits with the general feel of the store and the niche. So I don't see any problems there. The first thing that stands out to me when I look at this is there is no method of contacting this business clearly evident. Now, there's a contact us link there, but that's not ideal to just have that. So there's no phone number, there's no email, there's no online chat widget available on the page. And so to me, that's immediately, particularly for a new business, and particularly a business that does sell some high ticket products as well as some lower ticket products, that's a bit of a concern for me. So for me, particularly for the high ticket products, customer service is key, and particularly in the early stages of a new business when you're selling high ticket products, customer service is key, right? It's key because with high ticket products, customers often have more questions. And so you need to be able to answer those, and the more quickly and more well that you are able to answer those questions and get people the support they need, the more sales you're going to make, firstly. But secondly, customer service is a fantastic way to learn about what is and isn't working in your business. Now, you would say, well, listening to John talk about this for an hour is also a good way for me to learn, and that's probably true. But at the same time, people who are trying to buy the products that you're selling right now are the people with the most valuable advice for you about what you should or shouldn't be doing, or what your site is or isn't missing, about what competitors are they looking at this point in time, about what prices are they seeing out there in the market. Is price even something they're concerned about, or are they shopping on other factors, and are you addressing those things? So every time somebody contacts your business, whether it's by phone, whether it's by online chat, however that occurs, it's an opportunity for you to be getting some feedback from them as well. And I recommend anybody with a new high ticket dropshipping business does this. We've did an episode on our podcast about this recently. It's one of our Do the Work episodes, which you can probably go and find there. It's in the last 20 episodes or so, about asking pre-purchase questions. Right? If somebody calls up your business and they're like, oh, hey, I wanted to know about the shipping on this product, you can be like, yeah, okay, well, this is the shipping. Then once you've done that, say, hey, look, just out of interest, just doing a bit of research, are you looking at any other websites that have this product? Are you considering buying this from anyone else? Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about buying it from this website. Oh, cool. Thanks for letting us know. Now you know, and so you ask those sort of questions to everybody who contacts your business. You start to build up a picture of who are people comparing to you to the most. You could ask them a question like, is there any reason you wouldn't buy this product today? Oh, well, I'm still a bit worried about installing it. Right? You can learn. Or maybe they're like, oh, well, I actually saw some different prices elsewhere. Right? So now you know exactly what it is that you need to go and address. Because without that sort of feedback from customers, or potential customers, I should say, you're kind of always guessing, right? You're kind of always guessing what it is that you need to do. Now, obviously, somebody more experienced than you, like myself, can give you some great advice. But at the end of the day, I'm not looking to buy these products right now. I've never sold toys online either. I've helped people who have, but I don't have as much direct experience with this market as I do with some others. I can't have experience selling everything, right? So it's still not as good sometimes as hearing from your customers. So I would highly recommend for this site, we get some contact details in here. We get a phone number, we get an online chat. Even if you're like, well, I've got a day job, I can't answer the phone all day. Fine, send it to a message bank and call those people back after hours. You can call people until 8 o'clock at night. If they've requested you to call them, they won't mind. Trust me. And this is something I used to do on my very first business. When I started in business, I still had a corporate job. I couldn't answer the phone, every minute of the day. And so I'd be calling people back in my breaks. If I had a lunch break, I'd go and make 3 calls, right? Call some customers back. I would call people back after work. If I finished at 5, I'd call people between 5 and 6 or 5:30 and 6:30 or whatever. Like, you're not going to have stacks and stacks of calls to make. So set up a nice friendly message bank and call people back. It's still way better. Even people who online chat you, if you can't attend to it right away, it's going to send you an email message. They can leave their email so that you can reply to them. So go and do that later. That's way better than doing nothing. Even though it's not perfect. And over time, you'll get to a point where you can put something more instant into place and gradually improve your business. So that's the first thing I see.
Hey, remember Holly? Yeah, episode 212. From $0 to $500,000 in 5 months. Holly is one of our best students, and you can hop on a call with her right now at dropshipbreakthru.com/call. If you're listening to this, I know you're thinking about starting your own high-ticket dropshipping business, and what better person to speak to than Holly, who is a shining example of what can be done starting your own business. So hop on a call with Holly, see if joining Dropship Breakthru is right for you. dropshipbreakthru.com/call.
Next thing, my preference is always for the search to have a search bar, particularly on a website with lots of different products. Yes, we have this, and yes, we can do it. But there's actually research. People don't actually, particularly on mobile, this header just shows the magnifying glass. There is actually research that has shown a lower response rate to the magnifying glass thing than the search bar that people are very used to using, like a visible search bar. Now that's a theme specific thing. Once again, it's just a preference that I have. So that's kind of the header. Moving along to the menu. So I think a couple of things here. I don't like the menu. I don't like, particularly if I'm talking specifically about high ticket dropshipping businesses, I don't like the shop menu item. I mean, to me, that's just one layer you don't need. Like, underneath this shop, we've got 5 categories. So there is no reason that your 5 categories could not be in more specific, like having their own menu item. This can stretch out further, right? You don't need the home link because your logo, the behavior that people have online now is click the logo to go back to the home, right? That's built into every Shopify theme, basically. So you don't need the home. About us and contact us. I mean, those are fine to have. I usually put these sort of pages into their own menu item, and I'd put them in there along with your shipping pages, your returns pages, etc., etc. I think one of the comments that I'll have at some point, probably when I get to the product pages, is that the only place I can seem to get to your shipping policy, and you're selling some real big products here, is in the footer of your website, right down here. These things are right down here. And frankly, 10% of people look at your footer, generally. It may be even less on some sites. So anything that's in your footer, yes, you've got to have it there. I'm not saying everybody should go and get rid of their footers because nobody looks at them. You've got to have them there. They serve a purpose, but next to nobody who visits an e-commerce site looks at footers. And you can see that just with a heat mapping tool, a simple heat mapping tool. You can see what percentage of people scroll all the way down to the bottom of your page. It's very minimal. So I would be busting these out into their own menu items. And then I would have it's fine to separate your products that way, like into a number of categories. And then I would like probably go deeper into each of those, because if I click into outdoor play space, for example, You can see I've got these big play centers, and then I've got a sand and water table with umbrella, and then I've got a basketball hoop. And so, you've got a range of distinct product categories, cubby houses, along with play centers. I mean, those are fairly close, but I would even probably separate those a little bit. And that's going to have its own SEO benefits for you. If you want to generate organic traffic, one of your most common and valuable landing pages for organic traffic for a high ticket dropshipping business, once again, I'm being very specific to our type of business model here, is going to be collection pages. Now, outdoor play space is not going to rank for anything. This collection page, from an SEO perspective, is largely going to be fairly useless, because this is probably, and I am guessing a little bit here, I haven't done deep keyword research here yet, but I would guess this is not a keyword that many people use when they're looking to buy something to put in their backyard, right? The term outdoor play space. So this is not going to rank. But if I had a collection of, say, adjustable kids basketball hoops, or adjustable basketball hoops, or backyard play centers, or cubby houses was a collection page, those are going to be search terms that people make on Google. And with a bit of keyword research, you'll find the exact search terms that people use to describe these type of products. And they should be their own distinct collection pages, which then slot into your website navigation as well for the main ones of those. So I would do that you've got all this space on a desktop for a main menu. Use it. Mobile, of course, it goes into the hamburger and drops down, and so you don't want to go too deep, right? I don't like having more than this depth, right? You don't want to then go shop and then general toys, and then under general toys there's another drop down. That gets a bit clunky, particularly on mobile. You want to keep, to me, I like to keep menu item with one drop down, and that's it, and the subcategories of that thing in that one drop down. And that's about as deep as I like to go, because I think the usability on that starts to fall away past that. There are circumstances, and there are some high ticket dropshipping business out there where you need more, because it's particularly deep. There's a lot of depth to the site, and so you might use like a mega menu, I think is a better option. Type setup, which is where you have the big wide drop down that comes down, and you've got categories and collections under there. I think that can sometimes work better, but certainly this is a bit too basic for me. I would be building more into this. I think the free shipping thing up the top is nice, but probably a little on the small side, but good to have that there. So further on, as we go down the page, look, it's a nice little color scheme. It's a nice design, I think. I don't have it. Probably fits the market well, just from a design and font and color perspective. I think that's all good. We can see this outdoor play equipment is the high ticket products that Ben's selling on this site. We'll come back to those, because I think that's obviously high ticket dropshipping. That's kind of where we focus. There's some nice little messages here about what the business is about. I think that's a good thing to do. And we can see Ben's got quite a few sort of no man's land to low ticket products on here. Now, I'm not going to spend much time going on about that, because everybody knows I'm not a big fan of drop shipping products at those price points. So I'm not going to rant about that. There's not much point at this point doing that. The only place I see, like, once again, if you were going to go into the space of finding some of these things that sell well, even though you're not going to make much money selling them when you do sell them, and then introducing buying them on bulk and selling them, or at least the best sellers, I think there's potential there, personally. But otherwise, you're not going to have much luck or much love or even much fun, to be honest, selling $48 ukuleles at drop shipping margins. There's just not much point in doing that. You're doing free shipping. I just honestly don't see the point of making, I don't know, I would assume probably net $5 or maybe $10 at best selling this thing net after all of your costs are accounted for. There's just no point to me. The exception to that in general for high ticket dropshipping is where the lower ticket products are an accessory of the main product. So if you're selling one of these $4,000 products and there's some $100 or $200 things that you can add on to it as like an accessory type thing, then yeah, sure, that makes sense, right? Because you can bundle that up. You can create bundles. You can do all sorts of things with that. But the only time the low ticket products make sense for me is either if you can bundle them, you can put them together, you can use them as an upsell, or you have a really clear and distinct path, like back-end marketing path from that low ticket sale to somebody buying a high ticket product, right? And you've got that built out in your site in the back end, like email marketing, retargeting ads, et cetera, to take people from the low ticket product to the high ticket product. That's the only time it makes sense to me. Outside of that, just selling them in and of themselves, I'm not a fan, and I think it's such a higher bar to make that work than making high ticket products work that it's just not worth it. So that's look, collections, all this stuff on the homepage is fine. I mean, it's all good from a design and layout perspective. You know, you've got a nice footer down there. All fits quite well. So I think the design is nice. Things are well presented, etc. on this page. So I won't labor this too much. You know, I like this little graphic. This text probably doesn't have enough contrast on it. It's a bit hard to read that. But you know, probably just change this little white box around it to a darker one with light text over it would work better. All right. So now let's have a look at these high ticket products. So Ben had identified to me that these are the high ticket products that they'd like to sell more of, or they'd like to sell more regularly. And he's trying to kind of work out how best to do that and how to get into that a bit more. So I'm just going to pick a couple, just the ones that are on the front page here. Nice and easy. We're going to click into one of these and have a look at a product page here in this theme. So obviously this is a particular theme. I don't know which theme this is actually. I assume it's one of the free ones. I mean, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling it's one of the free Shopify themes. And so talking about product page. All right, so high ticket products. Now some of the things I've already said will come into play here. I like the imagery for these products, certainly. You know, this brand, I guess the brand is Backyard Discovery. You know, it's got some nice images. These lifestyle images. Great thing about kids' toys, often you can get good lifestyle imagery that brands will take of kids using the products. This is nice. This is good. You know, this sort of imagery. Anytime you can get hold of lifestyle imagery of people using products or the intended subject using the products of the product is great. And the reason it's great is it's actually a psychological thing. To get people to want to buy something, particularly something expensive, you have to be able to. There's a psychological process that goes on in all of us when we buy something. Right? We experience an emotion, and then we have logical thought. You can't. So the emotional response is a subconscious thing. The logical thought, which is where we go, oh, I wonder if it's the right size, or if it's how hard is it to put together, blah, blah, blah. That's all logic, right? You have that consciously, but you can't have that without the emotional response that says, oh, I think I want that product. I want that, right? And then what your brain will do is it will use logic to confirm the emotion that you felt. And if the logic confirms the emotion, then you'll go ahead and buy it. But you don't even do the logic stuff without the emotion bit happening. And you don't know the emotion bit's happening. So don't sit there and go, oh, no, John, I don't do that. That's not how I shop. It is how you shop, right? There is no debate about this. So as a marketer, one of the things that we want to do, the more that we can trigger people's emotions with our marketing and what we put in front of them, the more likely they are to have that integral emotional response to the product. And so the great thing about, you can do that with text, you can do that with video, you can do that with images. So the great thing about lifestyle images is that they show people using the product. And what that does is it makes it easier for us to imagine ourselves, or in this case, our children using this product, because we can see other children using this product. And to get the best emotional response, you want to be at someone to be able to put themselves in the scenario of using that product or getting the outcome that they're buying the product for. So people don't buy these products because they want to have a giant hunk of timber sitting in their backyard that they have to probably maintain once a year or whatever to keep it looking great, etc., etc. That's not why, and it's a pain in the ass to move once it's set up. You want to move house, you got to pull it apart and do what with it? Like let's face it, it's a massive, as a parent, having one of these things is a massive pain in the ass. Right? I've got 4 kids, right? I can tell you this right now. But kids love them. And as a parent, you love that your kids love them. And so by default, you love it. But that's the outcome. You're not buying the big hunk of timber because you're so desperate as a parent to have a big hunk of timber in your backyard. You're buying it because you want to see the smile on your kid's face that they have and the fun that they have and the less time that you have to pay attention to them because they're amusing themselves with the big expensive thing you bought them. I'm being honest, real talk here, in the backyard, and you can go on and have a drink or do something for yourself for 5 minutes, right? That's what you're buying when you buy one of these things. And so if you can, in your marketing, what you say on the page, in your imagery, in videos, if you get good videos, can show people experiencing that. And we can see here, look at these kids, they're having fun. Great. I can imagine my little shits doing the same thing and having fun. Yeah, that feels good. Okay, maybe I want one of these things, even though I know it's somewhere in my mind a pain in the ass to have one of these things. At least for John, it is, right? There's a good imagery. So always think about that. A little bit of a tangent there. Whenever you're writing copy, whenever you're finding images for your products, the more you can do. And yes, there's some limitation around the images when you're dropshipping. You don't have the product in front of you. You can't create these things very easily sometimes, but these are good things if you can find them to utilize on your product pages, because this is the point where people are making that decision about whether they're going to buy from you. So good images, leading with the white one, most likely because that's good for Google Shopping often. All right, so getting into what we actually see here. I mean, obviously we don't have any of the contact details. I'm not a huge fan of that, as I've mentioned. The other big thing that stands out to me for this product, so putting myself in the customer's shoes, this is a big product, right? And yes, I would probably assume that it's not going to ship to me in this state, because that would be fairly difficult to get on and off a truck looking like this. So as we can see down here somewhere, it is assembly required. It arrives flat packed. Okay, fair enough. So I can work that out, but it's going to be big, even flat packed. It's going to be big. It's going to be heavy. And so the number one question in my mind, aside from what's the price and do I think my lovely little adorable children are going to love it, is how the crap much is it going to cost to get it to me in Australia? Now, and not only that, like, how is it getting to me in Australia? How is it getting off the back of the truck into my yard? Like, how easy is it to install? So these are a lot of the questions. Now, we have free shipping Australia-wide up here. Let's assume that that's very small and most people aren't going to see that. And I'm telling you the truth. This is what happens. As soon as somebody lands on your page, they start doing this. Right, so I can't see anything about free shipping once I get down a bit. Once I get 1 centimeter of scrolling, I can't see free shipping. So I've got questions. There's going to be questions. I have no phone number to call you on. I have no way. I mean, I can click onto the contact us page and I've got a contact form only. I'm going to put my hand up and say, I am amazed you're even on Google Merchant Center at this point, approved, and if you're running ads. I cannot imagine the rarity of getting something approved without a phone number or any sort of contact information readily available, because contact forms suck. Nobody likes them. Yes, I know there are websites out there that use them, but they really suck. Nobody really trusts that you're going to get a good response there. So I got questions. I can't contact this business. I can't see any information here about how the product ships, unless, of course, I was to go all the way down to the bottom, which I say. Most people aren't going to do that. Most people, if they have questions, they're just going to be like, oh, okay, great. I'm going to go over to this website here where I can buy a play center. And oh, look, I can check the delivery right here. They charge for shipping. Please read our delivery terms and conditions for more information. This is a big and bulky item. So this is the behavior that's going to happen, right? You've got a short amount of time to grab people and get their attention and to answer their questions, right? If you want to get a sale happening. So that's the first thing I'd say. Like, there's just not enough detail here about like how does it ship? And it's not just the cost. Like, I get you're doing free shipping, and we'll talk about pricing and free shipping in a moment. But like, how does it happen as well is important when you're selling really big items. How long is it going to take me to get this product? So particularly, and here's a bit of a tip, running into Christmas, you're going to have a shipping cutoff, right? Where your suppliers will not be able to get these products to people before Christmas. And so you need to be telling people what that is if you don't want to have a major headache between Christmas and New Year's where you've got irate people calling you every day. And trust me, I've been here. And threatening to like chop your legs off because you didn't deliver their darling's present before Christmas. You need a lot more detail on this site about shipping. How long does it generally take? Like, what's the shipping arrangement? Like, is it dropping it on the curbside? Are you getting it delivered into people's backyards? Is there an option to do that? Even yada, yada, yada. It doesn't matter what the details are as such. I mean, it does in a competitive sense, but people just need to understand, like for your conversion rate, people need to understand what's happening. And this is different, once again, to a low ticket product. I'm talking here specifically about high ticket products, which tend, not always, but tend to be on the larger side. People do, and they tend to sometimes take a little longer to ship because they're not just getting chucked in a little parcel and offloaded to Australia Post or, whatever. People need to understand that, and it's your job to help them understand that. So you need way more detail about that built into your pages somehow. Your free shipping, which is good to do free shipping, obviously, but other things about your offer need to be built into your page as well. So I would be adding something in here, in this area here. This is the area that people are focusing on, the area with the price, the area with the add to cart. And this is where we talk about the offer. So free shipping is part of your offer, right? And there may be other elements or other things that you say that, why should people buy from your business, right? So I can buy this product from other businesses. I mean, if I just grab this product title, and we'll talk a bit more about this in a moment, and I put this into Google and I'm on the Google shopping page, looky here, I can buy this from other places, at least 3 other places. And I think there's probably some more if I was to go through it. I can buy it here. So why are people buying it from you? Like, when you're selling a product that other people sell from another brand, which is what we're doing with high ticket dropshipping, you're a retailer. You're like a Harvey Norman, to use an Australian example, or a department store, but a bit more specific, right? So you're selling a whole bunch of other brands. You don't sell your own brand. And that's fine. That's been a part of retail and commerce since day dot, since the start of retail and commerce. It's probably actually how retail and commerce started, with stores that sold other people's products rather than stores that only sold their own products. I would be willing to bet. Probably some smarty's going to prove me wrong there, but it's been around at least as long as people have been buying and selling stuff, right? So there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to remember is that if you're selling somebody else's products, that means other people are selling that somebody else's products usually as well, which means that customers have 2 thoughts going on in their mind when they're purchasing the product. They're thinking about, is this the right product for me? Is this the product that's going to give me that outcome that we spoke about earlier? And is this the product that's going to do that the best? And so your product information is doing the job, is doing the heavy lifting around that, like the imagery, the videos, the reviews, if there's product reviews available, your product description information, your features, your your dimensions, all of this sort of information is helping them know about the product, but you also need to be convincing those people about why they should buy the product from you and not one of the other stores that sells it. And you have to do that very proactively. So one of the things that I do not get any sense of on this site at all is why should people buy from Kookaburra Toys and not, just a quick, just look here. Why should they not buy from the Best Backyard, from Lasso, from Lifespan Kids, from Fantastic Furniture, from Go Easy Online? Like, why are people buying from you and not from them? So if you can't answer that question, then you've got a problem. And this goes for anybody. If you cannot answer that question, if you had to get in an elevator with me and you had 30 seconds and I was like, oh man, you're like, how's your day going? You're like, I want to buy this. I've got this thing going in my mind. I want to buy this product. Right, the elevator's already moving. I want to buy this product, but I can't work out who to buy it from. And you're like, and you're somebody who sells that product. You've now got 15 seconds to tell me, oh man, I sell that. You should buy it from me because dun 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 dun. What's your dun 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 dun? If you don't know that, any business, if you don't know, it doesn't matter what business you're in. If you don't know that, you're not going to make as many sales as you should be making. So that's the question you've got to answer. What is your hit point? It could be even 2 or 3, or it could be 4 or something. Probably wouldn't go many more than that, but otherwise it just gets a bit confusing. What are those things? You got to work them out. You got to find ways to do that. And look, we don't have time to go into all the depth of how to construct a great offer. We do that in the Dropship Breakthru program. So if you want to really dig in and learn how to do this stuff right, get over there and join dropshipbreakthru.com/join. And we'll teach you how to do it. But you need to have that, and you need to have it very visible explained in a very quickly digestible format here, somewhere here in this part of your page around the add to cart, because it's part of the buying decision. So you need people to understand that when they're considering, should I add this to cart? Should I take the next step? You need to have it there. And then you need to have that appear again on your cart page, because that's the next place they're going to go. And then you need to have it appear on your homepage, because some people, returning customers, might go there. So you want them to have that message there. And then you need it to appear on on your About Us page, because that's one of the things about your business. So in marketing, if you want somebody to understand something, you have to basically just ram it down their throat constantly, right? Don't expect people, if you're like, people will work out why my site's great. No, they won't, because they're going to be here for 10 seconds. They're not going to, people are lazy online. People are so lazy online, right? You have to slap people in the face with the things you want them to understand. So I'm here for 10 seconds. If I'm not convinced, I'm gone and I'm not coming back, right? I mean, that's what you have to expect. So you've got to get that stuff in there. You've got to get all the things that the customer's going to need to know to be confident and reassured enough to complete a purchase, has to be available on your product page, or at least a summation of those things needs to be very visible on your product page, so it hooks them in. And then at that point, they might be willing to learn more about those things if you needed to provide more detail. Like, you don't need to put your whole shipping and returns page on this page, but you should give people a summary of your shipping and returns on this page, so they can at least see that and go, oh yeah, okay, I get it. That sounds good to me. And then if they want to go and read the whole shebang, then you can have a link to your shipping and returns pages. But you need people to understand. Once again, you need to talk to people about risk reversal. What's the risk reversal on this product? Part of your offer. Like, you want me to shell out $4,500 for this product. What if something goes wrong? Does this product have a warranty? I can't say this product has a warranty. I mean, it might. No, I don't see that in the description. Does it have a warranty? Like, how am I protected? I don't know you. I don't know Kookaburra Toys. Your About Us page has a little bit. I can see Ben and Elizabeth there. That's cool. I would put your photo on that, by the way. BT dubs. And if you've got a family and you're willing to share them having some fun, I'd put them on there too. They're like, what if something goes wrong? What if I'm not happy for some reason? Like what are you going to do for me? Because at this point in time, the risk, the $4,500 risk, feels like it's solely on me, the customer. And so once again, being in business is about taking risks. It's about assuming risks. If you're listening and that makes you feel uncomfortable, well, you're going to really have to question whether business is for you, because that is part and parcel. You want the big payday sometime, you got to take some of the pain. Right? That's how it works. So risk reversal means, that's a marketing term. It's a term we talk about in marketing. Risk reversal means assuming some of the risk on behalf of your customer and taking the risk off them. So reversing the risk, because in any transaction, the risk is automatically on your customer. They have to give you the money before they get the thing. So that is automatically all of the risk on them, because if they don't get the thing, they've just lost, right? And that's people know that. And so they see the risk before they make the purchase. And the more they feel risk, the less likely they are to make a purchase. So is there anything you can do to reduce that feeling of risk for them? And anything and everything you can do to reduce that sense of risk for them is going to help with your conversion rate. And then making that quickly and easily understandable on your product page is going to then go even further towards giving people that sense of reduced risk. So there's a bit of work to do there. Moving down the page, let's get into just some of this description quickly. I just always have to keep an eye on time. I like the little description here. There's a bit of helping people to understand the, some of the outcome and that sort of thing that we talked about with that emotion. Features. General structure, sounds a little bit boring, but dimensions and weight's good. Once again, I probably wouldn't lead with this, security and privacy. It's fine to talk about that, but once again, I wouldn't start your product description with that. Once again, from an SEO perspective, this text is fairly useless. It's going to be repetitive. I assume that appears on all of your pages, so it just looks like it's part of the description in this layout. I'm not going to talk in any depth about SEO on this live, because once again, that's happy to do so for somebody's website, but this is a much more depth than is required here, or that we have time for. So I would find a way that you can condense that into maybe part of your offer, like you have a secure checkout or something like that, and just make it a bit more less texty and maybe more image based or something like that. But I don't like how that runs into the description. So nice little tagline here. I'd probably even put that at the top, right? I mean, a lot of parents want to do that. Let's be real. Giving kids something else to do is a good way to do that without, actually doing what you should do and just telling them to get off the couch. So that's that. Like features, benefits. Whenever you do, and I say this in kind of general terms, whenever you have like features statements, like this is kind of a description of what's in the product. I would, yeah. So, I mean, this is a good one. Like talking about some of these things is important. Once again, I mean, if I'm buying this for $4,500, I want to know that it's going to last quite a bit of time, right? I don't want to be thinking, oh, is this thing going to start cracking, and like, is it going to start loosening up and getting shaky and falling apart in 12 months, or am I going to have to restain it? How often do I have to restain it? And it's fine if somebody does, but you got to tell them that, right? Because trust me, if you get 6 months in and the thing looks like shit from the weather, people are going to be calling you up, right? Because they spent $4,500. My expectation is if I buy that, my kids are going to be playing on this until they're too big to play it, and I'm not going to have to buy another one, right? So Once again, this is what's going on in a parent's mind, and I don't really feel like your site addresses that. Right? You've got to address these questions if you want to make the sale. So your features and benefits statements, like some of these are just descriptive. I don't necessarily know that they're features as such, but like, once again, what are the top 5 things about this product, either for the kids or for the owner, the parent, the purchaser? What are the top things about this? Like, if it's durable and long lasting, great. That's what you want to hear, but you need more detail about that. And so features, benefits, outcome. That's the way these statements should read. So what's the feature? What's the benefit of that? And then what's the outcome? So the feature is it's all cedar wood construction, which means it's durable and long lasting, so that you never have to buy another one of these again, or it will last as long as your kids are kids, right? Like, and put, if there is more detail about how durable and long lasting it is, put that in. People like specifics, right? Whenever you make a claim, and saying that something is durable and long lasting is a marketing claim. You are claiming that the product is durable and long lasting. So is there some evidence of that you can pull in, or is there a specific number that can be attached to that? Once again, if there's a warranty, that adds to that. If the manufacturer provides a warranty that's long, then they're by definition saying, we know this lasts a long time. Otherwise, we're not going to put all our money behind it with a warranty that we can't back up. Some unscrupulous people would, but generally speaking, that's people's expectation. So you want to get these features and benefit statements and just add to them a bit. And the outcome at the end, remember, people are buying outcomes. They're actually not buying the features. They're actually not even buying the benefits. They're buying the outcomes. But for us to understand the outcomes, you can't just say the outcome. You have to provide the explanation of what the thing is that allows that outcome. So that's why we say features, benefits, outcomes. You actually that's how our brains work. So you need to follow that. So I'd be getting in a bit more there. I think that's primarily these are the things that, for me, the biggest things that are missing from these product pages. Now, I did say I'd check in a little bit on the marketing. So Ben had mentioned that he was running Google ads, Google shopping ads. And so was looking for ways to improve his conversion rate there. And certainly the things that we've talked about thus far on the product page and the contacting and all of that sort of thing, those are going to be big factors, right? Now, if we go off here and we take the product and the brand name, brand name and product name. Now, this is a brand and products that are out there in the market already. People will be aware of the names of these. And the first thing that I would say is when I searched the brand and product name, and this is a different product, but from the same site. And we've got this Skyfort one here. When I search for that product using the product title from your site, your ads don't come up. There's no ads here for your website. So I don't know if that's just a budgetary thing or you've run out of budget or something, but I did this a number of times on Google Shopping, and I'm in the main shopping page here, but you can go back to the all page here. And we don't see it there either. We've got some ads here, text ads here, and so for me, they're probably not coming up for the best search terms is what I'm seeing. So once again, we're not jumping into a Google Ads account here, but one of the things I'd probably say is that you need to be getting into your Google Ads and seeing what search terms are you coming up for. Because if it's all just generic stuff, then unless you're being very tight with that, I wouldn't be surprised if you had a low conversion rate. When you're selling high ticket products from brands, your best search terms or your best chance of conversion lies in the model name, particularly if your products have distinct model names. So Skyfort 2 Play Center, These are the type of search terms you want to be prioritizing. Backyard discovery, play center. Backyard discovery, Skyfort 2. Skyfort 2. And then there may be other words. Like, I'm sure not everybody describes these things as play centers. They might describe them as, I don't know what they might describe them as, but like cubby houses, or maybe it might even cross over there. But I'd be going after this one, Skyfort 2. If we go back to your list of these products, Skyfort 2, we've got Grayson Peak. Like, these are easy ones. Northbrook, Atlantis, Silverton. These are other brands now. Warrigal, Jackson, Teddy Cubby House, Aiden Cubby House, Teddy V2, Kingston. These are the sorts of terms that you're going after. Cedar Cove Play Center, Lakewood Play Center, Montpelier Play Center, Echo Heights Play Center. So those are the search terms, and I couldn't find your ads on any of those. So to me, that's an immediate issue. Like I say, I mean, you may have your ads paused. You might have a budgetary constraint that's preventing them from coming up when I've been searching for them, which is fine. But I would be checking in your search term reports. If you're running a single Google Ads campaign, then it's going to be difficult to hit those search terms without hitting a buttload of crappy search terms, which is why we don't recommend using a single search campaign. The way we do Google Ads is to have 3 campaigns where we can target different levels of traffic in each campaign, which, once again, something we teach in Dropship Breakthru. I can't explain that. I explain it over the course of 20 odd videos in the program. So Dropship Breakthru /.com/join is the place to go for that. But that's the big thing. But when I did look here, if I look here, so even if your ads were coming up, I did play around with, the thing that you should be doing is, if you get your ads showing up for the right search terms, then you're going to try and get your ads into this sort of position in the front end of the ads, right? Or at the top of the listings. Now, if you're at the top of the listings, then you can start going, okay, well, how do my ads compare? Price. So first thing I noticed on price, even with, I think you've built shipping, I think Ben's built shipping into his prices here. Even with that, though, when I went to some of these other sites that sold them, like I came onto for a different product, and I put in their shipping rates. I got their shipping calculators. So this is some of the bar you're coming up against. Like, people can readily understand what the shipping is here. So if I put this onto this, it's still lower than your price. So that might be something you need to address. I think there may be a pricing issue for you where your prices are higher, even baking in the cost of shipping, because on some of your competitor sites, it's easy for people to get a shipping calculation. So I can work out exactly to the dollar what it's going to cost me and these guys have options. I can get a plus install. You can get room of choice, although I don't know how that works for a play set, but I'm getting some stuff there about that. And so, you may need to revisit pricing. Google, once again, for some of these, just to use some examples. Once again, I don't think this site's doing everything great, but they have like some cool images, which they may or may not have got done themselves, showing the dimensions. Then they have these kind of, so I was talking about features and things like that, like going into a bit more, like, why is cedar great? Like, this is a bit more detail that I'm talking about. Like cedar, cedar. So what about cedar? I don't even know. Cedar, even an Australian wood, like, it's a great outdoor timber material, and this is why. Like, how does it age? It goes nice gray or silver shade, strong and cedar. Like, I still don't think it's specific enough, but they're going into a bit more detail with some of these, high temperature treatment. Okay, so that's a good thing, right? This is going a bit more into that detail about how long the product's going to last. And then you've got like these little schematic type diagrams, which I think are nice as well. So certainly these are some of the things. There's a product manual that you can get as a download. You could have that as well. There's warranty. So 3 years warranty on wood for rot and decay. Your site should say that. for this product, but it doesn't. So, or for these products. So that's, these are all things that people that vary. Not everybody's going to look for that stuff. Some people are going to look for one thing. Other people are going to look for another. But these are all the bases that you need to start hitting on as you go. Once again, they've got a contact. They've got a phone number up here. So the first thing, if somebody were just looking at your site and this site and they had a question, they will 100% go to this site because there's a phone number. And they can chat down here, right? Like people will buy from somewhere just because they were the first person that answered the phone. Like still in 2023, this still happens. And so that's something worth saying there. But yeah, look, I think we've touched on a bunch of stuff here that will make a difference.
Thanks for listening to the Dropship Podcast. You can find all the show notes for this episode at dropshippodcast.com. And if you're ready to take the next step in your dropshipping journey, we invite you to join us inside Dropship Breakthru, where John and I will walk you through step by step in starting your own high-ticket dropshipping e-commerce business. But that's not all. Dropship Breakthru will also teach you everything you'll need to know to grow your business and take it to the next level. So head over to dropshipbreakthru.com and sign up for our free training that will help you take the first steps towards building and growing your own profitable high-ticket dropshipping business.